thoughts on Southeastern Louisiana, a team the Grizzlies played for the first time ever?
Okay. Certainly it's exciting to have playoff football back in Missoula. It's a big second-round game against Southeast Louisiana. I think our fans need to rise up this weekend, and playoff football is always fun, so we need a great Saturday in the stadium. Southeast Louisiana is obviously a really good football team. They had a great win against Villanova last weekend. It was fun to watch. It was an exciting game, and a lot of good plays on both sides of the ball. I think that Coach Cellphone and his staff do a really nice job of coaching their team. They seem to be a team that coaches and plans to attack what you do well and take advantage of you rather than being a, hey, we do what we do type outfit, which I think is, you have to know what you're doing to be able to do it that way, and that seems to be their system. They're good up front on both sides of the ball, as well as being extremely skilled in all the skill position players. So it'll be a real test for us. They've got 20 transfer players on their two deep, which is interesting. They've done a good job of blending that group with their team, including 12 FBS players. So a lot of good-looking athletes on their film.
Chase Virgil, their quarterback, is an all-conference type of guy. What does he do well?
Well, he's one of the FBS transfers, and we're familiar with Virgil because he was at Fresno State when a bunch of us were coaching in the Mountain West, so we know him well. We've seen him up close and personal. He does a nice job. Obviously, that game last weekend, he was on the money, and he runs it pretty well, but he's a good thrower, and he's a veteran player. He knows what the heck he's doing.
Coach Cellphone has a long history with quarterbacks in particular. Can you see
Coach Cellphone's got a long history with a lot of stuff.
Fair enough.
That's a football family down there.
But can you see his influence on Virgil from maybe the time he was at Fresno State to now?
Well, I haven't really thought of it in that regard. And they're pretty good quarterback guys at Fresno too. So, but he's better now than he was at Fresno. So he certainly gets some coaching, and if Coach Cellphone's the guy that's coaching him, whoever's doing it's done a nice job.
Looks like they bring another kid in at quarterback sometimes, though. You see two quarterbacks.
Yeah, big kid, the Arkansas transfer. They use him a little more to run it. He's a big guy. He's tall, but he's big. He's been a little bit more of a runner. He's got 10 touchdowns on the season, leads them in touchdowns, 10 rushing touchdowns, that is. And, he played in the first half last week, didn't play in the second half. But he's a guy that they like to put the ball in his hands in short yardage situations and down in the goal line area.
Will they switch the quarterbacks during the drive, or is it this is your drive, this is your drive?
Oh boy, Frank, I don't know the answer to that. I don't know the answer to that. Usually, it seems to me it's your drive. But then they'll do it in short yardage. So I guess a little of both.
Tabor mentioned the first time you guys have ever played
Southeastern Louisiana, but you played teams from the Southland before.
Yeah.
Traditionally, they throw the ball around a lot. So does this look like a Southland team that you maybe have familiar with in the past?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, everybody's running this stuff on offense, so it's not certainly exclusive to their conference. But they're spreading it out, and they got a significant RPO game and a lot of zone. The quarterback's good. He can run it. He can throw it. So, it's a lot like a lot of the teams we see.
What was your approach last week to get your team mentally prepared for this week with the 2 weeks off and to overcome the disappointment of the rivalry game?
Oh, we just went back to work. That's what you do. Win or lose, you go back to work and get ready. So I think it was with our health being as bad as it was and is. I think that the ability to not play on Saturday was great for us. So it would have been hard to limp out there last Saturday. So, a little bit of practice, some lifting, a couple of days off, probably really good for us.
Does Seal look like anybody from the Big Sky that you guys have played so far this year?
Probably Sac State would be the closest, both in terms of style and personnel. And they're good up front and they're really skilled. So Sac would be the one I think probably be the best comparison.
It's been a couple of years.
Maybe it's the green unis. Go ahead.
It's been a couple of years since there's been.
Yeah, when you're
postseason
too
football.
long, but
Yeah. What do you expect the environment to be like, both in Washington Grizz and just in the city this week leading up to kickoff?
well, I hope it's great. I know everybody's leading up to the season was excited about the prospect of getting back into the playoffs, and certainly it's a place we want to be accustomed to, but I would assume everybody's pretty juiced up about this deal. I know our team is and our staff is, and so I really, like I mentioned when we started, I really hope people are excited about it, and we can have a fun day on Saturday.
You mentioned that you guys felt a little bit ahead of schedule, when you first retook the job.
Yeah.
Many things clicked for your team. Why do you guys think you're ahead of schedule at this point?
You have more wins than I thought we'd get.
What do you credit to that? Is that just the players or coaching? What's
Hard
kind of
work.
What does Seal look like defensively?
They're multiple. It depends on the week. It's kind of like I mentioned when I sat down. I think they tend to scheme to beat you rather than just do what they do. So that's a hard question to answer. I mean, some weeks they're odd, some weeks they're even, some weeks they're more zone. They lean to that. Some weeks they lean to more man. So they scout you. They choose how to play, and then they go with it.
104 tackles for loss, which I think would be the most in the Big Sky. That's a lot of tackles for loss.
Yeah, I didn't realize that number. That's a lot.
I mean, how important do you think that is? Just when you watch the film, is that a really important factor of them? Is just getting negative plays?
Well, I think anytime you can defensively you can get people behind schedule, it's a benefit to your defense. I mean, if you get them to third, you win on first down and get losses, or second down, then all of a sudden you're in third and longer. You're gonna be better in third down and more 3 and outs and all those things that add up.
Coach, you and your staff have spent a lot of time in the postseason, but the guys on your team not so much. Is there anything that you have needed to do this week or will need to do this week to sort of get them in the right mode to play in the postseason?
I think they'll be excited to play, which is the critical thing. I know they all came in yesterday and were on Sunday afternoon. We're talking about it. Stopped in to make sure we were working as coaches, I suppose. But they're excited to play, and that's what's important.
They're coming off a huge, that comeback win, last second win. They're going to have a lot of momentum. How important is kind of the first couple drives, first quarter, even the first half, in kind of establishing the momentum?
Well, I think like us, they've been a really good second half team. So I don't know where that plays into it.
With the Big Sky Conference, all 4 teams got first-round byes this year. Just what kind of a statement is that for the league, that the quality of competition you face this year in the Big Sky?
Yeah, I think obviously we had a strong conference this year. I think certainly all 4 teams are deserving. I don't know how you would sort one out, because, I mean, the 3 of us, Weaver, Sac, and us, we all split. So I don't know how you'd ever sort it out. And then obviously we got beaten our last one by the Bobcats. So I mean that's the way it probably ought to be. We'll see how the weekend goes.
Did you foresee the conference having 4 teams in this kind of situation before the year started, as far as the talent that you see across the Big Sky?
I don't really think of it that way, so it's hard for me to answer. I think we have a good league, yeah.
The fact that you did face those 3 teams this year, how much do you think that helped prepare you for this level of competition in the postseason now?
Well, when you get to the postseason, everybody's good. And I think that the teams that we played in our league, we didn't play the bottom end of the league much, so I think our conference probably gave us a our conference schedule, the Montana Grizzlies conference schedule, gave us a good prep for the playoffs. If we're healthy enough to compete, that also takes its toll. So there's the push-pull, or the, one weighs against the other. If you play a little softer schedule, you're healthier at the end of the year. Certainly that wasn't the case for us.
Obviously, it's impossible to predict the weather for Saturday, but I'm going to assume that it's colder than
You
most
work
of
with
the
the weather, man. What's that?
They tell me it might snow.
That'd be great.
Yeah, that was going to be kind of my question. No matter what the weather it's going to be colder than what I'm assuming most of the southeastern Louisiana players are used to. How does that kind of play a role?
Well, I think it was in the mid-70s there or something like that for their game last weekend. And we kind of, when the playoff seeding came out, we looked just for entertainment's sake, and it was, I think, 76 there. And we were pretty bundled up over there for the announcement. It won't be warm here, that's for sure. And at this time of year, any advantage you can get would help. I don't know if it'll be an advantage or not. But it'll be cold, certainly.
You coached a lot of some of the all-time greats that have played at the school. When it's all said and done, Dante's going to be right up there. What have you enjoyed coaching him the last 2 years the most? What stood out about him?
The fact that he's just a humble guy that works his tail off. He wants to be good. He is not satisfied unless he improves. And then, personally, he's a wonderful guy to be around, and he's good not just at football. He's a good person, so he's a great guy.
Do you have any opinion on the expansion of the playoff field to 24 teams? Because for so long it was 16 teams.
Well, I think that if I were to retroactively go back to former life here, I think it would have been real beneficial to us. This last Saturday off was good for us. I think it would have helped us before, certainly. I also think that in terms of if we never get to the national championship game, having it played with the 3-week break would have behooved our performance to be a little bit better. In the old days, we had to play on Saturday, work all night, Saturday night, Sunday, Monday, and get on a plane Tuesday morning and fly back there. It wasn't great for game preparation. So, if we can get good enough, I think this is great for us. If we can, it doesn't matter.
Anybody else? Thanks, guys.
All right.